ban children from using social media. The legislation will impose and enforce a minimum age to use platforms like
research on the impact of some social media on children in particular.
A new warning about something else, social media and what it means for kids' mental health.
The time spent on social media and depression or anxiety.
All right, and with TikTok's booming popularity, I looked into what that constant scrolling could be doing to our mental health.
We have gone from the information age into the disinformation age.
Our democracy is under assault.
What I said was, I think the tools that have been created today are starting to erode the social fabric of how society works.
In this digital era, much of our lives are centered on social media. We can connect with old friends, witness worlds far beyond our reach, and feel part of a larger community. With so much to explore and thousands of moments of happiness showcased in daily, we should be happier, right? But the truth is, the opposite is happening.
It's easy today to lose sight of the fact that these tools actually have created some wonderful things in the world. They've reunited lost family members. They've found organ donors. I mean, there were meaningful systemic changes happening around the world because of these platforms that were positive. I think we were naive about the flip side of that coin.
Social media offers an illusion of a perfect life where everything seems so delightful, glamorous, and flawless. We see people sharing their best moments, their luxuries lives, and even their great achievements that seem to be achieved instantly and effortlessly.
You're being subtly manipulated by algorithms that are watching everything you do constantly and then sending you changes in your media feed, in your diet, that are calculated to adjust you slightly to the liking of some unseen advertiser. And so if you get off that, you can have a chance to experience a clearer view of yourself and your life. But then the reason for society might be even more important. Society has been gradually darkened by this scheme in which everyone is under surveillance all the time, and everyone is under this mild version of behavior modification all the time. It's made people jittery and cranky. It's made teens especially depressed, which can be quite severe. The founders of the great Silicon Valley spying empires like Facebook have publicly declared that they intentionally included addictive schemes in their designs. Now, we have to say, this is what I would call almost a stealthy addiction. It's a statistical addiction. What it says is, we will get the broad population to use the services a lot. We'll get them hooked through a scheme of rewards and punishment. And the rewards are when you're retweeted. The punishment is when you're treated badly by others online. And then within that, we'll very gradually start to leverage that to change them. So it's this very kind of stealthy manipulation of the population. So it's not as dramatic as a heroin addict or a gambling addict, but it is the same principle.
What we see and consume is just a version that's been carefully compiled and selected. A version that hides the reality of actual life. Every photo posted, every story and video shared, is often the result of carefully curation and designed to create a certain perception. This triggers unhealthy social comparisons. We see others' seemingly perfect lives, have ideal bodies, have extraordinary achievements, and clearly happiness. Then we start wondering, why isn't my life like theirs? Is there something wrong with me?
Imagine like when you take that to the extreme, where bad actors can now manipulate large swaths of people to do anything you want. It's a really, really bad state of affairs. And we compound the problem, right? We curate our lives around this perceived sense of perfection because we get rewarded in these short-term signals, hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value and we conflate it with truth. And instead what it really is fake, brittle popularity that's short-term and that leaves you even more, and admit it, vacant and empty before you get it. Because then it forces you into this vicious cycle where you're like, what's the next thing I need to do now? Because I need it back. Think about that compounded by 2 billion people. And then think about how people react then to the perceptions of others. It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
And starting from here, anxiety begins to surface. The more we see seemingly perfect lives on social media, the greater our discontent with our own lives. The side effects are serious, ranging from anxiety and stress to depression.
It's all about likes.
You want to be liked.
I like.
The power of like.
Companies know how to turn like into money.
The kids who are liked.
I put it on my Instagram and I was so happy. I started getting views, which I didn't think was going to happen.
This is my first bite. Cool Ranch Burrito Taco.
And the advertising machine spinning likes into gold.
Your consumer is your marketer.
This is the biggest transformation that we've had in our lifetime.
If you don't have a zillion hits, then you generally wouldn't get noticed by a sponsor.
Author Douglas Rushkoff examines the culture of like.
1 million people took an action to say, yes, I like that piece of content. That piece of content speaks to me. That's profound.
The fame.
They need to stop worrying about their followers and start worrying about the money.
The fortune.
They can reach their friends and their peer networks and be your own evangelist. They can sell your product for you.
And what it all means for the way we interact with each other and all the people and things we like.
Social media bring us into a culture of validation. The number of likes, comments, and followers becomes the new standard of happiness. We assess our worth based on how many people appreciate our posts, and this becomes addictive. We increasingly seek validation and link our self-esteem to other people's judgments. You're surely familiar with FOMO, right? Yes, that's it. This is the phenomenon of FOMO, or fear of missing out. A major negative impact of excessive social media usage. When we see others enjoying life, achieving big things, or even just gathering, we feel left behind. We feel sad because we can't partake in the perfection they share. So, how do we counter the negative impact? The first step is to realize that what we see on social media is just a small piece of reality. Realize that social media only presents the best snippets of someone's life. And most of what we see and consume on social media is often just an illusion. We can also use social media detox as a great step. By reducing the time we spend on social media, or even temporarily disabling it, it gives us room to breathe and living in the real life. Because in the real world, authentic relationships are far more meaningful. True happiness comes from genuine connections, honest conversations, and moments that are not measured by the number of likes or comments on a post. True happiness lies within us, not from outside. When we stop comparing ourselves to seemingly perfect lives, we can start accepting ourselves as we are. Because social media is just a tool to connect us with the outside world, but not a determinant of our value. In this social media era, it's important for us to understand that true, meaningful life and happiness come from real experiences, genuine relationships, and self-acceptance. Social media can be our window to connect with the broader world, but do not be swayed by the illusions behind the convenience of connection and access to information offered by social media.